Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Nicole Rankin, and I am excited that each and every one of you are here tuned into the Millennial Mindset Network live coaching and mentorship program. As I always said, it is one of my wonderful pleasure and honor to help people get from where they are to where they want to be. And I have a personal mission to help young people, millennials who are in that, I don't know what I want to do stage, or that stage where they may feel stuck. They may have had an idea of what they wanted to do, but somehow that's just not in alignment with who they are and who they are becoming. So this is a forum for where we can just let our hair down, be vulnerable, be open, get the questions that we ask out on the table. Because I truly believe that to be successful, you have to delve deep within yourself, because everything that you need for success is already in you. So I know there are a lot of people out there that have all the secrets to success and the things that you need to do for success. But I am a proponent that if you delve within and take the time to do that self-work and that self-revelation and that self-discovery, you would truly start connecting the dots to your purpose and understanding the things that you have been created to do, be, and have in your life. So I am just ecstatic to have the opportunity to work with each and every one of you in this journey as you take the time to invest in you, because this is what it's all about. We get bogged down in our daily routines and our ability to just do the things that we know to do. But in order to get a different result, we know we have to do what? Do something different, right? So this is the opportunity for you to do something different in order to be able to get a different result in your life. So how this kind of going to work, I'm going to, in the beginning, just do some little teaching, and hopefully that will be good for you just to gain some nuggets. And I will record the beginning of this and send this out to everybody so you can review, you can go back and you can reflect on your own. And then I will go into any questions and answers, and I won't record that due to just confidentiality. I don't want to be able to record. I want everybody able to be free and be open with the stuff that they bring to work out. So I will record the teachings. I will send that out as usual, and then open it up for you, because this is for you. I am doing this specifically for you to get what you need to bridge that gap to where you want to go. So tonight, let's get started. Tonight, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite laws of personal growth is the law of intentionality. And the law of intentionality simply says growth does not just happen. And I like that this law is one of my favorite, because what it does, it keeps me growing. And just as you're going through a process, I went through a process to kind of figure out the things that I need in my life to have my continuous growth and development. And having personal growth as a lifestyle is something that I really didn't know was a thing. We're told that we are able to, grow financially, we can grow educationally, we can grow spiritually, mentally, but personal growth, meaning that you're doing what you need to do in order to maximize your capacity to enlarge your thinking and stretch your mindset, stretch yourself out of the norm, stretch yourself out of your comfort zone so you can experience new things. Because the reality is where you are right now is due to your best thinking, right? Due to your best thinking. So in order to go to another level, in order to take your life to where you want it to go, you have to, right, think greater than where you are. So this is what personal growth and personal development does for you. So the law of intentionality said growth just does not occur. So that means we have to be strategic. We have to be intentional about growing ourselves. And I liken this to one of the laws that John Maxwell first taught in his book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, is the law of the lid. And basically what that says is that, you know, all of your potential, your goals, your visions that you have are underneath your lid, your capacity lid, your growth lid, your leadership lid. And there comes a point where your vision grows, your goals grow, and you're achieving. But then there comes a point where you may feel that you are at a cap, that you're kind of hitting yourself against a glass ceiling, meaning that you can look up and see that there's more to have, but you really don't know how to get there. You're feeling stuck, you're feeling in your routine, and like literally, like you can feel physiologically that you are hitting your head against that glass ceiling. And so what John Maxwell says about that is that in order to continue to grow, because your capacity, your potential will never outgrow your lid. So in order for your potential and capacity to continue to grow, you have to raise your lid. And once you raise your lid, then you can continue on that journey to grow your potential, to move to doing different things, to maximize your capacity. And then again, it may come to a point where you are feeling stuck. So when you get that feeling again, you know you need to do what? Raise that lid again. So the thing about raising your lid is a lot of times we have big visions, we have big dreams, and we see the big picture. We see the idea that, you know, this is a huge undertaking. And I always said that if your vision is not big enough, you know, to know that you have to rely on somebody other than yourself, then you don't have a vision. Because if you could do it, you'll be doing it, right? So having a big vision is great. And it's obtainable, but they say the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time, right? So what we have to do that, rather than looking at it as a way to increase our potential from, let's say, a 5 straight to a 10, well, let's see what we need to do to increase it from a 5 to a 6. And then when we get to that 6, go from that 6 to a 7. And then we can do things on smaller bites, and things won't be so overwhelming, because a lot of times we feel this state of overwhelm and it causes us paralysis, that we don't move, and we're ended up in the same cycles year after year, night after night, doing the same thing, and we're stuck. So we want to do things in small increments. So the question that I have, I like the quote by James Allen that says, people are anxious to improve their circumstances, but unwilling to improve themselves, therefore remain bound. And that's a powerful quote by James Allen, because a lot of times we're always looking at our circumstances. And really, it's really an excuse. Using that, we don't have the resources, we don't have the knowledge, we don't have the right people around us, or whatever the case may be, right? Finances, you know, so there's always some external circumstances that we're looking to improve, but really the thing and the person that we need to improve first is ourselves, in order to obtain and become the people that we need for the increase in all of those other circumstances and all of those situations. Does that make sense? So I hope that makes sense, because that is just a powerful understanding of how to truly develop yourself in this journey. So as you are going to reach your dreams and pursuing your goals, John always talks about there are some growth gaps, because growing is not something that we are inclined to do, so it's not something that's easy. It's going to take effort. It's going to take work. It's going to take being intentional, right? It's going to take being strategic. So there are growth gaps that take place in your life and even in your thinking. And the first one is the assumption gap. An assumption gap says that I assume that I will automatically grow. Now we know that everything around us is designed to grow. You know, we come out the wombs as babies and we grow into adulthood. You know, looking outside in nature, plants start as a seed, but they grow. So everything is conducive to grow, but personal development doesn't automatically grow. Just because we get older and we may or may not mature doesn't mean that our personal growth will grow with us just because we age. Also, the knowledge gap. I don't know how to grow. A lot of times we don't know what to do, so we do nothing. And that's something that will hinder us from moving forward, because we feel that we have to know everything in order to be able to move forward. And we'll talk more about that a little later. So if we don't know, that's when we feel that we get stuck. But the reality is, if you're going to be intentional, if you're going to move, if you're going to go to the next level, if you don't know, you have to ask. You have to get help and be willing to be able to say, I need help. I remember when I was making my transition from my corporate job, my research job, my full-time job into entrepreneurship or self-employment. And when I'm thinking about the idea of starting a business and growing business, I had no clue. And I could not say that, even though I have a PhD in public health, I have multiple degrees in this lane as a self-employed business owner, I had no clue. So I had to be humble. I had to get the help. I had to acknowledge that I don't know. And my mentor always says, you don't know what you don't know. Every day is a new journey, is an opportunity to learn. So being able to be in that space where you're constantly learning is going to help you in this journey. Also, the timing gap is another gap that says that it's not the right time. So we use that as a lot of times as an excuse. It's not time to do this right now. I have other things going on, or it's not the right time. But when is the right time? It's never going to be the right time to do the things that you desire to do. There's always going to be something that's going on. Life is constantly happening. So you have to make up in your mind that you are going to make a decision that you're going to do, you're going to start, and you're going to continue the process no matter what. The law of diminishing intent says that the longer you wait to do something, the more likely that you're not going to do it, right? So we want to be intentional. That means we have to get in, we have to do it, we have to be consistent with it. So I want you to think of the question and discussion and ask yourself, what do you think about the idea of starting a journey even though you're scared and unprepared? Starting a journey even though you're scared and unprepared. I have my mentor, Paul Martinelli, who is the president of the John Maxwell team. And I use his infamous quote all the time. He says, you know, when you're starting something, you have to jump and grow wings going down. Now, the first time I heard that, I was like, Paul, you're tripping. But it's the reality that when you're going after your dreams, when you're going after the things that you want, you're going to have to take risks. You're going to have to step out on faith. You're going to have to go into that unknown, and you're going to have to start. So I'm here as a personal witness to know that it can be done. And I don't have any superpowers. I watched the Avengers the other night and saw all the characters with their infinite superpower. I don't have those powers. All I have is crazy faith and the desire to do, be, and have more. And once you have those two things, you can move mountains, right? So the other gaps that John talks about in the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, when he talks about the law of intentionality, is the mistake gap. And that's always the mistake gap and the perfection gap. And that's something, those two gaps are a lot of times for my OCD people who always have to have those I's dotted and those T's crossed, don't want to make mistakes. And I can attest to that because I used to be and still am. It took me a hard time to transition over because being a researcher, you're very analytical, you're very logic in your thinking. You have to have be very accurate in the things that you do. So that kind of pulled over into other areas of my life. So I always had to make sure that everything was perfect. I didn't want to make mistakes. And if I did make mistakes, they had to be minimal. But in the journey of going after your goals, of pursuing your potential and reaching your God-given destiny, you have to make mistakes. You have to figure this thing out. You've never done it before. And then once I got that mindset, I liken it to as a toddler. When a toddler is beginning to walk, they never walked before. They just see other people around walking and really just kind of decide that, hey, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to get up and I'm walk because I see other people walking. But the first time they do it, are they successful? Probably not. Most times not. They may get a little wobble and then they plop, they fall right back down until they get to the point where they are walking consistently and they can take multiple steps. It happens all the time. So why as adults do we lose that childlike mentality and want to be so perfect all the time? And those are the things that are hindering us from moving into the things that we know that we need to do, because it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be the perfect time. You're never going to have all the right things in place because you don't know. How do you know what you need to have in place when you've never done it before? That kind of makes sense, right? So the perfection gap, the inspiration gap is another one he talks about, where you just really don't feel like doing it. And that's a legit gap. And because a lot of times we rely on this feeling that we need to move. And my mentor always says that, growth and development is moving despite the mood that you are in and doing it anyway and being consistent with it. So when the feeling is gone, you still have to muster up that energy to do what you need to do because you know your why and know that you want that end result. The next one I want to talk about is the comparison gap. And this right here is so important because it says that others are better than I am. And in this world right now, we have this world of social media that we have a tendency to look at other people's lives. And, you can scroll through your feed, looking at people taking vacations, looking at people accomplishing all these great things. They're having babies. All the kids just went back to school. So everybody has their back to school photos of their children. So you have all of these things. And if you desire these things, you can get caught up in comparing yourself. Well, at this age, I'm supposed to be doing this because this person is, or because society says that at this age, I'm supposed to be at this level. But who says that, right? Who makes those rules? Your journey is your journey. So the more you compare yourself to other people, the more it's distracting you from doing the things that you're doing. It's just a distraction. So that's something we truly got to get over in comparing ourselves to other people. And then also the last one is the expectation gap. And the expectation gap says that I thought it would be easier than this. And that is right there because this is hard work. This is not easy, although it's rewarding, although it's fulfilling, although the peace and the joy that you get from, going after your dream, achieving your dreams and living the life you were created to live is indescribable. However, it's not easy. I repeat, it is not easy. It's going to take work. It's going to take dedication. It's going to take consistency. It's going to take doing the things that you don't want to do to the point that you have to do them because you need to get to where you're going, right? So I always said the difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person is that a successful person is willing to do the things that unsuccessful people are not willing to do. Point blank, serious, and that's it. That there is no magical formula. It's the idea that you're saying to yourself that you want more, you want to do more, you want to have more, and you're willing to do the work to get there. There's no easy formula. I know you can look out to this world today and you have all these wonderful sensations that, they can get discovered on Instagram. They can become YouTube famous at a drop of a dime of social media. And yes, that does happen. But a lot of times they don't tell you the story. They show you the end result, but they don't tell you the journey it took to get there. And they may tell you, oh, they have been instant success. But I bet you if you sat down with that person and asked the questions and truly heard the story, you'll realize that there's no such thing as instant success. It takes work, right? They say the only place success comes before work is in the dictionary. And that is so true. But you know that the journey is worth it. So when you're doing the things that you are called to do and that you're passionate about, it doesn't seem like work. It seems like a calling. And that's what makes it a difference. So I'm excited about your journey and just making that transition to intentional growth. You know, asking yourself these questions. And if you're listening, I want you to jot down these questions. You know, where do you want to go in life? Where do you want to go in life? And what direction do you want to go? And more importantly, what's the furthest you can imagine going? Where do you want to go in life? What direction do you want to go in? And what's the furthest you can imagine going? Because that's what it's part about imagination. It's about dreaming and seeing yourself, not just doing the routine, the mundane, but seeing the impossible and achieving the impossible. You set your height on the mountain, and when you climb up and get to the top of the mountain, guess what? You can see more. And I always question, because I'm a very ambitious person. For those that know me, I'm always thinking ahead. I'm always looking for the next result. I'm always looking to accomplish the next thing. I'm just really not satisfied with mediocrity or just being average or doing the mundane routine thing. I'm always looking to, what they say, level up. I'm always looking to go to the next level. So I imagine, I think about, I journal. What are the things that I see for myself? And those are the things I start going after. So I want you to ask yourself those 3 questions. Write it down. You know, I love journaling, so make sure you have a journal when you come into these sessions, taking your notes and writing down these questions, so you're able to go in your own reflection time and think about these things. And more importantly, just know that you got to do it now. You know, tomorrow's is not promised. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I said, I'm in my 40s, and you know, when you think about the life expectancy that we have in today's world, we're seeing people leaving this world way too soon. Way too soon. Whether it's due to violence, whether it's due to chronic disease, heart disease, or just, you know, unexplained deaths. People are leaving this earth way too soon, in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s. And, you know, we were talking about just even, it was a group of us just exercising and just talk about just the life expectancy and the things that we can do on our end to, you know, have some power and control over our health, and being intentional about that. We talk about how we as a culture are exposed to diabetes and hypertension and a lot of those diseases that are truly preventable, although they are genetic, you know. So tomorrow is not promised. So why wait, right? Why wait for whatever reason, the perfect opportunity for you to have the right money, the right, whatever it is, whatever story you're telling yourself. Because that's what it is. It's a belief system. Whatever you're telling yourself that's stopping you from moving forward on the things that you desire, you know, those are the things we want to work out while we are on this call each month, because those are the things that are stopping you, and we want to get you past that so you can move forward. So we're going to get past the fears, all the fears that we have: fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of being overextended, fear of lack of resources, be it time, energy, and money, fear of what other people think. That is a fear. People fear success because of what other people may think. And I always, when I hear that, I'm like, what? Because, I always have the spirit of let go, because I understand that at every level that I desire to go, there are people around me that's not able to sustain me at that level. So unfortunately, but realistically, I have to let people go. And I let people go not in a harsh or mean or cruel way. You just grow apart. And a lot of times when you grow apart from people, there's a reason. I remember the poem, Reason, Season, and Lifetime, that people come into your life for a reason, season, and lifetime. And then you have to know when that season is over. So, and the consequence of holding on to people longer than their season can be detrimental to you and them. So understand that, what other people think, it doesn't matter. It's what you think and what you desire. Is what you know to be truth for you. That's what matters. So getting rid of all those fears. So if you want to reach your potential, you want to be the person that you were created to be, you want to have those opportunities, you have to be intentional about your growth, because growth does not just happen. That is the law of intentionality. And that's why it's so important that, you listen to these calls, you get on these calls, you come with your questions so we can work things out. We're going to be intentional about this process, because it's not just a one and done thing. It's not just, we say we're going to do this and you don't, in a few months, you're in the same place. No, we're moving, we're pushing, and we're growing together to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. So that is my teaching for this evening. I hope that was helpful for you. I hope you were able to glean some nugget, at least just one. It's okay. At least just one thing that you can take from what I said and what I taught tonight, and put that into your life and actually implement that and apply that to your life. Learn it. Go back and listen to those specific questions that you should be asking yourself, and writing it down and reflecting on that and working through that process. Asking yourself, what are the things that you need to be doing in order to help you to bring yourself in alignment to where you want to go? And then also asking yourself, what are the things that you need to stop doing that's causing you to be out of alignment from where you're trying to go? Because these are the things that we need to identify in order so we can kind of hone in that process and hone in that journey. Because we do so many things, right? We do so many things and we can get caught up. And then, but the reality is, like the law of the process says, success is not overnight, and activity doesn't necessarily mean accomplishment. So you have to ask yourself, what are you accomplishing when you're doing all of these things? So I want you to just, think about those things. Make your list, assess, what are the things that are in alignment? What are those things that are not in alignment? What are the things that, where it is that you want to go? What are the things that you want to accomplish? And how far can you imagine? So that is it for the teaching on tonight. So I am going to stop the recording so we can delve into questions and answers. So get ready, get prepared, bring your questions, and let's get ready to dive in.